study was released the study goes back to last year, but this recent study basically identifies the last common ancestor of humans and apes. And also the study itself, which I've linked in the description, talks about the last common ancestor of humans and chimpanzees. We're going to discuss this article from Science Daily. I've linked the description. I've linked in the description the actual study from Nature. It's complete, so there's no need to go. It's not behind a paywall, which I like. Whenever there's a study that's not behind a paywall, it is awesome. But when it is, I can't morally put any reference to the links to other sources, but anyone who's as good as using the search engines as I am will easily find them. It's not that that's holding me back, for example, but I don't use that morally. But anyway, going to share. Here we go. It's from the American National History Museum, published in October 12th last year, 2017. The news research suggests that the last common ancestor of apes, including great apes and humans. Now, there are two common ancestors, last common ancestor. This one is the furthest one back of all apes and humans. Was much smaller than previously thought, about the size of a gibbon. The findings published today in the journal Nature, today, October the 12th, 2017, is fundamental to understanding the evolution of a family tree. And the first off, it has this little graph that they put up already has an error. I'm going to leave you guys that are watching in the chat to find that error, and it is after the number 2, the last common ancestor of chimpanzees and humans. I'm going to see how well you guys know me, and take your time. There's no rush. You guys just have a look. So basically here it shows the family tree from primates, especially the hominoid primates, which is apes and humans. After the hominoids, they were the last one species, one animal, was the last common ancestor between the apes and what led to humans. And the first split of all apes and humans were the gibbons. The gibbons, as you guys know, are not a great ape, but are a lesser ape from Southeast Asia, if I'm not mistaken. And that split, I won't say that for this this diagram the dates where they split, but it was long ago. And then from the great apes, we have first the orangutans, the gorillas came later, and then there was the last common ancestor between chimpanzees and humans, and they led to us. Now this article, this diagram, put it in the description. There is an error there, and it is one of the extinct species. So let's read what Science Daily has to say. Excuse me. New research suggests that the last common ancestor of apes, including great apes and humans, was much smaller than previously thought, about the size of the gibbon. The findings published today, that's last year, in the journal Nature Communications are fundamental to understanding the evolution of the human family tree. Body size directly affects how animals relate to the environment. Yes, they do. In warmth retention, etc. There's a whole lot of factors which need not be said here. And no trait has a wider range of biological implications. Of course not. They are all in conjunction, says lead author Mark Grabowski, a visiting assistant professor of Eberhard Karls University of Tübingen in Germany, who conducted a work while he was a postdoctoral fellow in the American Museum of Natural History's Division of Anthropology. That is a big word. However, little is known about the size of the last common ancestor of humans and all apes. That is the number 2 in that diagram. We know more or less what one is, number 1, the last common ancestor of all apes and humans, but we don't know the last common ancestor between chimpanzees and humans. The omission started because numerous paleobiological hypotheses depended on body size estimates at or prior to the root of our lineage. Among living primates, humans are most closely related to apes. Yes, we are apes. We're not closely related to apes. We are an ape, which includes the lesser apes, the gibbons, and the greater apes, chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans. Now, these hominoids, that is all of the lesser and greater apes, all of them, including us, emerged and diversified during the Miocene. That was a period between 23 million to 5 million years ago. Miocene also has a lot of other animals, really weird and awesome animals, etc. Because fossils are so scarce. Yes, they are, because it was a period of great mutations. A lot of things happened. There was continental drift, of course. There were, for example, in the Americas, this is just getting a bit off topic, but in the Americas joined, North and South America joined by that time. So there were a lot of things happened. Beginnings of the glacial period, ice ages, more or less. So the ones that we are now in. So we are still in an ice age, people. We are just in between an ice cold maximum. We are calling an interstadial. In fact, we should have been cooling down if it wasn't for industrialization and pollution, carbon dioxide emissions, etc., etc. We should have been cooling down. Naturally, it would have taken thousands of years. Of course, it's not, but that's another thing. Because fossils are scarce. Okay, to get a better idea of the of body mass evolution within the parts of the primate family tree, Grabowski and co-author William Jungers from Stony Brook University compared body size data from modern primates. That includes us, of course, including humans. Of course, we are primates, we are apes. Two recently published estimates of fossil hominins and a wide sample of fossil primates including the Miocene apes from Africa, Europe, and Asia. They found that the common ancestor of apes was much smaller, probably weighing about 12 pounds. That's 30 kilos. I know, man, 12 pounds. The American, I'm not going to... in the actual study, which I have included in the description, there's a graph, which you open it up, you will see all the weights in kilograms. So, to get you guys to read, so I have to say that. I love you guys. I hope you guys read, because that's the best thing you can do. I love to read. So, and it goes against previous suggestions of a chimp-sized chimpanzee-like ancestor. In fact, I'm going to actually show you guys what I mean, because this is just so you guys can see the difference, how light. In fact, I'm going to open up that table that I want you guys to have a look at, and here we go. Now, in kilograms, a pan troglodytes. Here it is. I'll highlight it. This is Pan-troglodytes. Pan-troglodytes is the common chimpanzee. He weighs 45 kilograms of body mass, right? Now, compared to average Homo sapiens, which is us, 58-ish kilograms. Now, our earliest ancestors, which I, in fact, will list them by their age, because I made a little, just so you guys know what we're dealing with. From about 22.5 million years ago, we had Proconsul africanus. He's probably recognized as the ancestor of apes. You also have Proconsul major. Later on, you had Kembo Proconsul Nyanzi, Ikembo Proconsul Hezelion, about 20 million years ago. Then much later, you have Pliobates Cataloniae. Pliobates Cataloniae, in fact, is a European primate. Cataloniae from Catalan, from Spain. Then Dryopithecus fontani. I don't know where that is. Sivapithecus indicus. He at 12.7 million years ago. I should have put that earlier because I was putting them in fact, I'm going to do that now because, as you know, this is just there, and this goes there, and this one is earlier than this one. There we go. I have this in more or less chronological order. Sivapithecus indicus was found in India. He's also a primate. Could be the ancestor to the gibbon. So we got that. Then we got in Europe. We have a tooth of a hominid from Eppelschein in Germany. I spelled this badly, so I'll fix that up later on, but never mind. And again, in Spain, we have Hispanopithecus laetanius, 9.6 million years ago. There's been a little bit of a controversy last year. I made a video on the next one, this guy here, who in the Guardian, the Times, and some other mainstream left-leaning journals, newspapers said humans did not evolve in Africa. They evolved in Europe because of Greco-Pithecus freibergi at 7.24 million years ago. And no, they didn't. He's possibly not a direct descendant. He's just one of the many, as you guys can see. Look at that, all over the place. The first two Africa, the first four Africa, Neozampithecus alesi, 13 million years, also Africa. We have Sivapithecus indicus, India, Dryopithecus fontani, possibly Africa, Pliobates Catalonia, Europe, Eppelstein, whatever, Europe, Hispanopithecus laetanus, Europe, and we have now Greco-Pithecus freibergi in the eastern part of Europe, in the Balkans, etc., who at 7.24 million years ago was hominid, an ape-like animal. It was an ape. He was a primate living in what is now the Balkans. Then we have to come back to Africa for Sahelanthropus chadensis. Now we're getting closer to the roots of our lineage. This one was found in Chad, the Sahel area. That's why that's Sahel, Anthropus chadensis. Then we have the Ororhyntugensis in that is also in northern sub-Saharan Africa, around 6 million years ago, till we get to the Ardipithecus kedaba at 5.5 to 6.3, and the Ardipithecus ramidus. From these three, from Ororhyn and Ardipithecus, we begin to have the Paranthropus. They used to be called Australopithecines, the Bosei, Robustus, etc. They are the robust Australopithecines, but now they have been put in their own category as Paranthropus. And the just get rid of this. Yeah, I'll save that. And we get to the Australopithecines as this chart shows. But the weights, for example, Ororhyntugensis weighed 35 to 46 kilograms. Ramidus, 32 to 50 kilograms, compared to Pan troglodytes, an average of 45. So there's an average. Ammonensis is the first Australopithecine at about 46 kilograms, etc. Afarensis, Lucy was 39, Africanus 30, Sabida 26. These the Paranthropus that I was talking about, these two, Bosei and Robustus, they were light. I thought they were heavy, but they were light. They called them robust because they had really massive faces. One of them, Bosei, was the nutcracker man. So that's just and Homo habilis. Oh shit! I said the word H. habilis, 32.6 kilograms. H. habilis are the first lineage of our own species of H.O.M.O lineage. Only weighed about an average of 32.6 kilograms. Even H. erectus at 51 kilograms, even though he stood close to 2 meters tall or 6 foot tall, over 6 foot tall, he wasn't that heavy. At 51, more or less 51 kilograms. Heidelbergensis, take note, weighed 70 kilograms, around 70 kilograms. Neanderthalensis, 75 kilograms. Us, 58 kilograms, etc., etc. You can see here the ones that I talked about. Pananthropus, Proconsul Africanus, 35, Major, 75. He was heavy. He was sort of Proconsul Major was a huge primate ape. He was possibly the biggest ape that has existed, even heavier than us. He was massive. Then the Ekembos and the Drisoph, they were all very, very light. In fact, Pliobatis cataloniae was 4.5 kilograms. It was really, really small. So, but they were still a giver. He was still an ape. He was still more or less what we are. So this is from the study from Nature Communications that I have it in the description, and its title is "Evidence of a Chimpanzee-Sized Ancestor of Humans, but Gibbon-Sized Ancestor for Apes." That is the study. So have a look at that. Now, come on, get to that. So. Among other things, the implications of our behavior that is central for large tree-dwelling primates. Yes, because the earlier primates that were mentioned before Australopithecines may have been tree dwellers, so they had to be light, except Proconsul Major. He was big, he was massive. He probably did not live in trees at all or climbed much. This implies sensory locomotion, overhang, hanging, and swinging. That's gibbon, overhand, hanging and swinging. That arose for reasons that animals simply were too big to walk on top of the branches, like the gibbons. Have reached them. The gibbons are possibly at the limit or below the limit where they just can't walk on top of the branches. And in fact, chimpanzees do it. All the other primates do it. So that's why one of the reasons that they sort of diversified from the other primates, the monkeys, etc. Now, the research suggests that the ancestor was already somewhat suspensory and large body size, and the large body size evolved later, with both adaptations occurring at separate points. True. The development of suspensory locomotion could have been part of an arms race with a growing number of monkey species, the researchers said. Branch swinging allows animals to get to the prized and otherwise inaccessible fruit at the edge of foliage. But you need to be heavy. If you were too heavy, you couldn't, because the edges of the foliage were just too light, so possibly you could bend them down. The large bodies would let them engage in direct confrontation with monkeys when required. So yes, there was possibly a competition between different groups of primates. Because different groups because they, but it assumes this article, and even the actual study assumes that they may have been in competition, and even today we sort of not see too much competition between different groups of primates. There is some overlap, of course there is, between fruits, foliage, flowers, etc., etc. There is a lot of overlap, but they seem to occupy different levels of the different niches in the environment, in what they eat. I can't think of the word, but never mind. They sort of directly compete, but not directly compete. They occupy different niches, different stratified. I'll give up. I can't think of the word. Never mind. Let's get back onto this. The new research also develops that Australopithecus, that is the group of early human relatives, were actually on average smaller than their ancestors, and that the smaller size continued till the arrival of H. erectus. And as I showed you in that graph, they were lighter than modern day Pan troglodytes. Pan troglodytes is in body mass compared very close to us. They are definitely stronger than us, body to body. They are much stronger than humans, Pan troglodytes, and they are physically smaller, but their body mass is more mass is comparable to us. So it appears that the decrease in overall body size with our lineage, rather than the size simply staying the same or getting bigger with time, which goes against how we generally think about evolution. Yeah. Did increase because of environmental factors that led to their evolution. They were pressured by factors of the environment, including predation on them, etc. There's just a whole lot of variables that would have affected how they evolved, and possibly one successful mode was to get a body small enough to climb a tree to get away from 90% of the animals that were trying to kill you, for example, because these early human ancestors were scavengers. We only got to hunting with H. erectus because they got the size right, and also the technology right. When I say right, it's not right. It's they evolved technologically, and they evolved in their body size and capacities, etc. So that ignore that what I said about right. It's not right. There's no right or wrong. Just when I say right, is just efficient. That's the word I was trying to look for. So it appears that the decrease in overall body size within our lineage, rather than size simply staying the same or even getting bigger with time. Oh, I just read that. Sorry about that. And that ends basically the article. So that's about it. Did you guys figure it out? I gave you guys a clue what's wrong with this. I hope you guys were clever enough to catch it. But I'll stop sharing and address you guys. Hello. Firstly, hello everyone. Hello Beach. Hello St. John. Hello Kianami, my friend. Of course, hello the Batman. Let's see. Well, I think someone collects the prize. Should I say it? Press 1 if I should reveal who the winner of who got it. I got 5 minutes to burn till 3 minutes. So yeah. Batman says 1. That's enough for me. John got it right. It says up here, I think the error is that Heidelbergensis is shown as parallel to Neanderthals and a distinct to Homo sapiens as opposed to being a common ancestor to both. See, John knows me. John knows me. He got it. Of course, you possibly all got it. I just read his first one. No. The Batman, yeah. Well, the size of the brain gets more important with the lineage of HOMO. HOMO habilis, H. habilis, was already exhibiting growth in brain and also reorganization of the brain from the cast we have shown. We have it. Yes, it's not the size because what's his name? Let's see if it's here. Sabida. H. Sabida, the one that I talked about last time that I found in Southern Africa, the cave system, the star cave system. It is Sabida, isn't it? Yeah. He had his brain size was only 500 cc's, half a liter, yet he had the structures which indicate that were very, very close to ours, just reduced in size, which would indicate that they may have even had speech. Limited speech, we don't know, but they may have had speech. Their speech part of the brain was as developed as ours, only in a smaller scale. And we know that they did bury their dead. No, not Sabida, Naledi. I'm sorry, Naledi. H. Naledi. From the Naledi cave in South Africa. Sabida is a different one. Naledi is the one I was trying to say. I correct my past one. So yes, the size of the brain is in fact important after a certain point. After habilis, it is important. Before habilis, it's still important because it governs how they how they comported themselves in what's that word? Damn it! Sometimes I forget words. How they react, how they acted, basically. I can't think of the word. So, yeah. Totally wasn't. I'm not going to touch that one about the Spanish, the Batman. Nope. How are you, short? Oh, how are you, short story? How are you? Thank you for coming on. Let's see. If humans became extinct and our ecological niche was left, do you think chimps would evolve into human-like beings? Evolution doesn't work in that way. Evolution does not have a end point or a goal to achieve. Evolution just happens. It will be filled in, but why necessarily the chimps. Maybe given enough time, some other lineage of other type of animal would fill in that. It could even be the cetaceans or even the octopi. They have very, very complex brains and patterns, etc. So just putting that out there. Yeah, yes, there is evidence that Erectus looked after the injured and invalid. Yes, we do have that direct evidence. But the Batman from Damnizi in Romania, where they found an old bloke had no teeth, but he was cared for by the group because he'd survived long enough. So yes. Crab people, good people. Yes, Archaeology, crab people. Also, yes, John, rats, possibly the rodents. Absolutely, we don't know what animal would fill our ecological niche if we disappear, but there would be filled. It will be filled. We see that everywhere. We see that in nature. We see that in all. For example, in Australia, you have the marsupials that filled in the ecological niche of the squirrels. They are the sugar gliders, etc. The gliders, etc. The little kangaroos, rather deer of the deer, DEER, not DEAR, the deer of the outside of Australia, Eurasia and Americas. Yes, the animals do have common or convergent evolution, but that's called convergent evolution. It's not linear. Nothing. Evolution does not set out to create something. Evolution happens, and the animals just naturally fill up that space. Basically, yes. How are you, Gunny, my dear friend? I'm having a beer. Yes, I'm not having a blunt. Unfortunately, I can't get it here. So, yes, I think I'll end it here. And a high note from my dear friend Gunny. The Batman, Planet of the Rats. Why not? It's as valid as Planet of the Octopi or Planet of the Cetaceans. Thank you for all the fish, the cetacean, the killer whales and the dolphins, etc. So yes, thank you for all the fish. So yes, I'm going to end it. Thank you all for putting up with me, and good night.